Scaling your law firm doesn't have to be difficult. It's all about mastering a few key strategies, systems, and mindsets. Welcome to the Scalable Law Podcast, where we talk about how you can increase profit in your pocket and time in your calendar. My name is Carolee Fontanelli, and I have successfully scaled my firm so that it doesn't solely rely on me. Now I love teaching other law firm owners how to do the same. Let's transform your business starting now. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Scalable Law Podcast. I'm super excited that you are here. If you are new, welcome. If you are an old listener, I mean not old in age, but you've been listening for a while, welcome back to the podcast. This is where we dive into all things firm growth, scaling strategies, and the mindset shifts that you need to elevate your legal practice. My name is Carolee, and I'm super glad that you are here no matter where you are tuning in from. So I thought today I would give you a little bit of an overview of me, just in case you do not listen regularly and you haven't followed my law firm journey. I am a law firm owner and I run a business called Scalable Law. My law practice is called Collective Family Law Group, and we're located in Southeast Queensland in Australia. I currently have a team of around 14 employees in the law practice, and I really do enjoy running the practice, but I don't actually practice law in the firm myself anymore. I gave that away a while ago to really focus on scalable law, which is where I, as a second business, and I really love helping law firm owners to scale their firms to a place that is successful for them. I have been running my practice since 2012 and really bootstrapped in those early days, made lots of really terrible decisions, wasted a lot of money on marketing and agencies that never ever worked, employed the wrong people, made all the mistakes. And now what I really love doing is helping other law firm owners bypass and skip the hard bits and not do all of that. If I had a program like Scalable Law back then, one, I wouldn't have been so lonely because I would have had an amazing community to hang out with. Two, I would have been able to ask the right questions to the right people so that I could skip ahead and avoid pit holes. And three, it wouldn't have taken me so long to really start paying myself a salary and enjoying the firm. I got to a point where I actually probably was burnt out by the firm. I didn't enjoy it. I resented it. I resented the team, which is what we're going to talk about today. And I just found the whole thing really, really hard. I managed to work my way through that and really came out the other side. And in 2020, when we had all that space to think, I thought, who do I really want to be working with? And who I really wanted to be working with was me, say, 6 years before that, which is law firm owners who are really struggling to find that peace and to really enjoy their law practice where they're making lots of profit and they can enjoy freedom. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm about. I love traveling, so a bit of my personal stuff, love traveling. I've got 3 kids, 2 adults and one who is a 14-year-old. She just turned 14 on Sunday. And I'm taking her to Tokyo this week for the school holidays, which I'm super excited about. We're just going to go and chill, hang out, eat some amazing food. And yeah, I'm really excited, and it's amazing because I can just pick myself up and go and do that. I might do a little bit of work. It'll probably be scalable law work. The firm will tick along and run itself, which is awesome, as in run itself because I've got an amazing team. It doesn't run itself, but away from me, which is what I help law firm owners do. So if that sounds like something you would love to achieve, and success for you might look very different from what success for me looks like. But whatever it is, let's set some goals. Let's talk about what success for you looks like, and let's work out how we can get there. I help people do this in my scalable law programs. There are 2 programs, one for up to $1 million turnover and one for law firms who have a team already, and then they want to scale beyond that $1 million, $2 million plus. So that's how I can help you. That's a little bit about me, the firm, scalable law, and what I love doing, traveling. So today, what we're going to actually talk about is a topic that is close to my heart, and that is stop complaining about your team and start doing this instead. This is a big topic to tackle because I know a lot of law firm owners grapple with this, and that is the frustration with your team or employing the wrong people or, just feeling super frustrated with how the firm is running. I hear it all the time. There are no good team members out there, or no one cares as much as I do. If you've ever caught yourself saying or even thinking these things, today's episode is for you. What we're going to do is we're going to flip the script on team dynamics and take a hard look in the mirror and uncover what you can do to turn those complaints of yours into opportunities for growth and freedom. So let's get stuck into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is identifying what the problem is. And this might be hard to hear, but there is a common denominator in your law firm, and that is you as the law firm owner. So let's start today with a reality check. If you find yourself constantly frustrated with your team, it's time to pause and really ask a tough question. What's the common denominator here? Is it really that there are no good team members out there, or could it be your leadership style, communication, your expectations? Could it be that the firm isn't organized and that you're trying to run it out of your head? Maybe some of those things are actually part of the problem. Now, I know that this might sting a little bit, but hang with me. I was one of these people who complained about my team, but really the common denominator was me. And as a law firm owner, I think one of the really difficult, challenging things is that when we first start going out on our own, we don't really see ourselves as leaders. We might not have ever led a team before. And as we start growing, we now have to lead a team. And I even see it in my own team members. It takes a real skill to lead another person in law. So I'm working with one of my senior associates at the moment to try and help her become a better leader of a junior solicitor that she has under her wing. And there are a lot of challenges with it. So now you find yourself as a law firm owner fallen into this trap of thinking that we're doing everything right and it's everyone else who's dropping the ball. But leadership isn't just about delegating tasks. It's also about setting the tone, setting the culture of the firm, providing clear guidance. So here's a question to reflect on. Are you leading your team, even if your team is only a part-time person or a VA or someone else? Or are you just managing them? So are you leading them, or are you just managing them? Are you empowering them to succeed, or are you micromanaging every detail because you don't trust that they can get the job done? So let's break down some common complaints that I hear from law firm owners about their teams and see what we can do about it. Let's really investigate it. So one of the complaints that I hear all the time is that my team doesn't take initiative. They don't take initiative. So the translation to this is that they're unsure of your expectations and they're afraid of making mistakes. This often comes from a lack of clarity and trust. What I find is that most team members really do want to do a good job, but sometimes they freeze in the fear of making a mistake. So the reality check here is, have you provided clear instructions and the resources needed for them to feel empowered? Initiatives often flourish when team members know they have freedom to act without being second-guessed at every turn. Put yourself back in the shoes of being a junior or, assisting when you were in your early career years as a lawyer. That's exactly what it's like for them. So an action step around this is to create a safe space for initiative by giving your team permission to make decisions within defined boundaries. This can be done with processes and systems. You can outline exactly what they need to be doing, get all of that information out of your head, and then praise them when they do what they need to, even if the outcome isn't perfect, and acknowledge the effort and guide them through those improvements. So training is what it comes down to there. The second complaint I often hear is that I have to micromanage. Now, the translation of this is that there's a lack of trust, and it's likely impacting both you and your team. Micromanaging stifles creativity, it diminishes morale, and it often leads to burnout for you and your team member. It's not only you that's getting a bad outcome here, both of you. So the reality check here is that are you micromanaging because you don't believe in their abilities, or is it because your processes and expectations are unclear? So again, it comes down to training and processes and systems, and trust can really be built through these clear guidelines and a shared understanding of goals and outcomes. So don't be afraid to train and really expose what it is that you want and how it can be done, and then you can start easing off and not having to micromanage anymore. So the action step that you can take around this issue, if you are faced with this, is to shift your focus from controlling every detail to setting up systems and processes that hold people in your team accountable. Implement checklists, project management tools such as Trello, or making sure that in your practice management system they are properly using those tools with updating dates and things like that. And again, create processes, checklists, and systems all around how they're to do that and what your expectations are around that. Or regularly check in without that suffocation. So you can do spot checking of file progress and things like that, so that they know that you're checking in, but you're not going to be micromanaging. The third complaint I hear law firm owners make is that they keep making the same mistakes again and again. The translation here is that the problem isn't just their performance, it's actually the feedback loop. So if errors are reoccurring, it's a sign that the feedback isn't landing, or the training process needs revamping. So here's a little reality check. Are you merely pointing out what's wrong and the mistakes that they've made, or are you actively coaching and training them on how to get it right? Feedback should be constructive and actionable. It's not just a list of faults or it's wrong, let me fix it, because that's a real trap that we can fall into as law firm owners, is we think, oh, it's just easier to do this myself. So we take it off them and we do it ourselves. So action steps here are use mistakes as coaching moments. Instead of reprimanding, ask what went wrong, why it happened, and how they can prevent that from happening next time. Guide them towards solutions rather than just highlighting the problems here, and really train them into how to not make that mistake a second time. There's really great tools like Loom. So for example, if you are getting them to draft something and you're not happy with the drafting, instead of just correcting it, you could actually do a Loom video. So you could go through and correct it on a Loom video, so you can show them on your screen what you're not happy with and why it should be different. And it means that you can train and talk at the same time. They can also rewatch it if they want to. And you can also store that in a library for another employee at another time. So that's just a really helpful hint there. So that's called Loom. We use it all the time, and it's awesome for training purposes. The fourth mistake or complaint, I should say, that I hear so many law firm owners say, and that is, no one seems to care as much as I do. The translation of this is that you haven't really shared your firm's vision in a way that resonates with your team. Maybe you don't even have a vision for your firm. And therefore team members can't feel connected to the mission. So let's do a reality check. Are you treating your firm's goals as something only you care about? Or are you sharing your firm's vision and goals with your entire team? Engagement skyrockets when people feel their work is contributing to a greater purpose. So bring them along for the ride. And here, an action step for you is to regularly communicate your firm's vision, values, goals, and wins. Involve your team in the bigger picture and show them how their role directly impacts the firm's success and recognize their contributions. So we do this at our firm. So we have a vision, we have values, we have goals, we've shared it with our team, and we share it with our team on a regular basis. And then what we do is once a month, we share the results for the firm, and everyone's contributed to those results. Even, say, our receptionist, she's contributed by taking all the initial phone calls. She's contributed by sending out cost agreements. So we celebrate those successes and those wins. And then we congratulate a couple of really great team players that month, some from admin and some from our legal team. And we recognize them by giving them a spin and win. It's a really fun thing that we do. We have a spin wheel and they can spin it and win a prize. They're only small prizes, $100 to $200. There's a couple of bigger prizes on there if someone's lucky enough to spin that. But it's really awesome because it takes people along for the ride and we celebrate those successes with them. So that's something really simple that you could probably implement in your firm as well. So I'm not sure if any of those common complaints resonated with you, but if they did, let's talk about shifting your mindset from complaint to ownership. Here's the truth about being a law firm owner. Your team is a reflection of your leadership. If you're constantly dealing with disengagement, missed deadlines, low morale, it's time to shift from a mindset of blame to one of ownership. And that's you I'm talking about. It's not one that your team needs to make. Instead of complaining about what your team isn't doing, ask yourself what you can do differently. Maybe it's time to invest in some leadership training. That's what we do in the Accelerator program for people who have team members. Maybe it's time to improve your onboarding processes and set clear expectations. Again, those are the things that we take care of in the Accelerator program. We help you to set up systems and processes, and we help you to get a really clear vision and share that with your team. And honestly, we can move your team from a place where you are complaining to a place where you are full of gratitude and celebrating. And it's a wonderful place to be. So if you are interested in that, grab a call with me, go over to the website or the show notes, and I would love to have a call with you to share with you how we can fix all of this for you in a really short period of time as well. So let's talk about some key action steps that you can do on your own if you want to, but if you want my help, we can certainly do that in the Accelerator program. So here's some key action steps. 1, lead with clarity. So clearly define your roles. So you need to make sure you've updated all of your position descriptions, make sure that they know their expectations and the outcomes. Ambiguity breeds frustration. It really does. So be transparent about what success looks like for your firm and what success looks like for their roles as well. Number 2, invest in development. So when was the last time you invested in your team's growth? Not just your mandatory CLEs that are all about the practice area that you work in, but actual skills that help them to thrive in their roles and feel valued. Doing things like investing in your team for working out things like what your core values are, investing in your team to work out what your firm's vision is and what their roles look like within that vision. It helps your team to really feel valued if you make those investments. The third action step that you can take here is to create what's called a feedback loop. So make feedback a two-way street. So regularly check in where you and your team can both give feedback and can open up communication lines and create a more cohesive team environment. This can be done with regular one-on-one meetings. This can be done in regular team meetings. So we run a team leaders meeting, and then each of our team leaders are meeting with their team members. And that can really, really help open up those communication lines to ensure that there's that feedback loop going on all the time. And the fourth action step that you can take today is to foster a culture of accountability and recognition. So accountability shouldn't feel like a hammer, like, you've got to do this thing. And recognition shouldn't be rare. It should be something that happens on a regular basis. And really, it's the balance between constructive feedback with positive reinforcement. So this is where you're really starting to transform the power of self-awareness and leadership as a law firm owner. And you've got to remember, leadership is a skill. It really is. And just like everything else in your law practice, you have to learn it. You know, we weren't taught to be leaders at law school. And most often, law firm owners weren't taught to be leaders in their previous roles either. So this is something that you might have to invest some time, maybe some money in, to make sure that you can really step into being the best possible leader that you can be. If you don't want to keep losing team members and then having to re-employ, this is where you really do need to hone in on your leadership skills. The most effective leaders are self-aware, they know their strengths, they are aware of where they fall short, and they're committed to improving not just their team, but specifically improving themselves. If you're not seeing the results that you want from your team, it's time to turn that critical lens inwards, as hard as it is. And I've had to do this, and it has not been easy, and it has not been pretty. But this is where the growth is in this hard stuff. So ask yourself, am I communicating clearly? And remember, you might think you're communicating clearly, but as I've been coached before, you have to communicate, and over-communicate, and think that you're like a broken record. It's the same kind of thing as you need to do when you're doing your marketing for your law firm. Over-communicate. So are you communicating clearly? Are you investing in your team's growth? So are you spending time training and mentoring them? And are you leading with empathy and setting the right example? This isn't about beating yourself up. Absolutely not. None of us have been taught to be leaders. It's time that we have to step up into leadership. And it's about recognizing that you have the power to change the dynamic. The best part is that when you start to improve your leadership approach, you'll see those changes ripple through your entire firm. There'll be better client service, you'll have more engaged team members, you'll have less complaints coming your way with unsatisfied clients, and yes, you will have a lot less frustration on your part. You might even be able to start creating some more freedom for yourself and some more profit, which is what we're all about here at Scalable Law. I hope that's been really helpful for you today. My final thoughts here are to take ownership and really just watch your firm thrive. If you have been stuck in that cycle of complaining about your team, and I know exactly what that's like because I have been there in the past, I challenge you to flip the narrative. Stop waiting for the perfect team member to show up because they do not exist, and start being the leader that they need instead. The magic really happens when you take ownership of your role in this process. And instead of asking, why can't my team just get it right? Start asking, what can I do to help them succeed? That's where the real transformation begins. So if this episode really resonates with you, I encourage you to take action today. So you can take action with those few points that I've given you, or you can jump on a call with me, which I'd love to hear from you, and we can talk through that together. You can reflect on your leadership style and make one tangible change this week. So whether it's clearer communication, providing more support and coaching, or simply acknowledging the hard work of your team members. And if you want me to help you personalize those strategies and elevate your leadership even more and help you grow your firm, then please book a free strategy call with me. I'd love to chat it through with you. So as always, thanks for tuning in. Keep pushing forward and unlocking the potential in yourself and your law firm and your team. Until next time, I hope that you have a fabulous week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Scalable Law Podcast, brought to you by the Scalable Business Lounge. If you would love to know how you can get more clients without relying on referrals, head over to scalablelaw.com to watch my free masterclass. Until next time, you have got this.